Tonight's season finale episode of the Sunday Night Talk is here. We record this late after the Super Bowl. Demonte Williams is here. Omar Carmona is here. We put a season finale on the season. We started it in August, and here we are. A lot of thoughts. But before we get to the episode, I want to thank you if you came out to the stand-up show this last Friday night and saw me do stand-up comedy. It was a great show. And there are more coming. So stay tuned, or as always, hit me up for the information. I will throw it your way. Today's episode, well, we had the Super Bowl today in sunny Los Angeles, California. We kick it off with our opening storylines, our thoughts, our game breakdown, and the awards. That's right, we give out awards for the season. What did the NFL get right? What did they not get right? A whole bunch of other stuff you're not going to want to miss. Of course, then we close it up with predictions and legal ramifications. What do we predict? The season's over. Well, if you listen to the show, you know we always did way too early predictions. So now we can do way too early predictions. Not going to want to miss that. And a fun legal ramifications. And since Diamante is joining us, Dinofications as well. The season is over. How do you feel? Did you overindulge? Did you eat a lot? I know I did. But that's what the Super Bowl's for. It's a celebration. You should enjoy it. It was a great game. I want to thank you all for listening to the Sunday Night Talk, and please enjoy our season finale of the Sunday Night Talk. It starts right now. All right, it is 8:24 West Coast time. It is the season finale of the Sunday Night Talk. Omar Carmona is in the man cave. Demonte Williams joins us from Houston. We just finished the Super Bowl. The season comes to a close today. I am completely bloated. I am a little woozy. I'm a bit blocked, but ultimately fully satisfied with the season. And let's just address what's been on everybody's mind starting from last week. After extensive research, studying, and study, I can confirm that it is indeed a shovel pass. I've been doing a lot of research this week. I know it's been on the tip of everybody's mind.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
But
By definition.
I don't think we saw one during the game, though. So it's like doing a lot of research for nothing.
How dare you, Omar? This show means something. Shovel pass, by definition. To throw a shovel pass, the quarterback palms the football and shovels the pass directly forward to the receiver, usually with a backhanded, underhand, or pushing motion. Lee Grosscup, a quarterback at the University of Utah in 1957 and 1958, is credited with the invention of the shovel pass, often called at the time the Utah pass. As well, Grosscup said publicly the pass was used decades earlier as the forward pass was gaining popularity. So we can put that to bed. Good show, everybody. Let's have a good
year. Hey, see you next year.
We'll see you next year. Right?
Yes, we put it all to bed. Well, the Super Bowl was today, and I don't know how you guys spend the Super Bowl, but it's a long day. It's a lot of eating. I don't know how you guys view the Super Bowl. Do you have a way that you go about it? Start with you, Omar. How do you view the Super Bowl? What do you go for?
This is the second year that in recent memory that I saw the Super Bowl with just being home with family. No parties. Was invited to a few, some big, some a little more intimate, whatever. But it was, we said no to everything, and we just saw the game at home with kids. We were able to, pick out our own food, and we had some brats, snacks, and the kids are in bed already. So is it kind of quiet? Yeah, and you kind of miss the screaming and the shouting at each other, the talking shit to each other. But when you don't go, it's also a lot simpler. You can enjoy the game, enjoy the commercials, enjoy the halftime show. So I'm personally liking this no Super Bowl party lifestyle.
D, how about you?
Shoot, this year, last year I didn't do anything. It was just my brother over here. But this year I invited a couple guys from work. Um, had it blasting on the surround sound system. It was the first year that it felt like an actual football game, because last year we had no crowd. We had a little bit of crowd, right? We had the first responders in the stadium, but other than that, we had a full stadium here, and we had the surround sound blasting. So, and then the halftime show. Woo,
Right.
yeah. So
We'll
we
talk
spent
about
it.
that.
Yeah, it was still intimate, but had a good time. We had a blast.
I wonder if, like, in this day and age, I wonder if the Super Bowl party is a little out these days. I haven't heard of a big Super Bowl party blowout in the last couple of years. I wonder if it needs to gain momentum again.
I don't think it is. It's not like that anymore. I mean, I think everybody has their select little group, right? I mean, I've never really been to a huge Super Bowl party since, like, I don't know. I don't even remember the last huge Super Bowl party we had. I guess I did come to Houston for Atlanta, New England, to come visit my brother. Then I wasn't living in Houston, and they had they rented out the whole in an apartment, a big old conference room in the apartment complex, right? So
Wow.
I think that was the last big Super Bowl party I actually attended.
Yeah, I've done like the Omar version the last couple of years because number one, I actually want to listen and pay attention to the game, and I want to listen and pay attention to the commercials, and I want to see what everything is said and stuff like that. So I've gone kind of the Omar way a couple of times. There's definitely been a few Super Bowls where I just watch solo, and I just get my food and I watch and I just sort of text throughout the game. But I was thinking of some odd Super Bowl viewings. I remember one year my uncle came to visit me when I was in college, and we just went with his friend to a bar. Somehow I got into a bar, and we watched a Super Bowl in a bar with no sound. It was just odd, and it was just an odd experience.
That'd be brutal. Like, I think I'd like walk out if they didn't turn it on.
Right, and you're sitting in a bar stool, and you're kind of uncomfortable. You've had wings and stuff, so you're a little full by the end of the first quarter, and you just have to ride it out from there. And there's just some odd ways to watch the Super Bowl. Definitely one of my weirdest ones that I watched. And then lots of times there's kind of parties where you're just kind of in and out of the game. You're walking around, you're going outside, you're coming back in, and you're just kind of getting bits and pieces of the game. So.
Yeah.
When was the last time you were able to go to a Super Bowl party or hang out by yourself, Omar?
I will tell you that. So prior to this year, the Broncos Panthers Super Bowl 50 was the last time I just watched it home. And I remember the crappy thing about that Super Bowl was that it was just a bad Super Bowl. You know, the Broncos really dominated the Panthers, so that was kind of disappointing. The last big Super Bowl party I went to is my firm threw a big party, obviously because it was me, but the Niners Chiefs, and we rented out like a party hall, and like we threw a big party, like it was a potluck, so everyone brought a lot of food and everyone brought out a lot of alcohol, and really all my firm did was just pay for the people that were helping out and the rental space, but that was fun. So you could look at it both ways too, because that was nice because a lot of people brought kids over, which entertained my kids, and I didn't have to listen to them during the game, which was great.
Yeah.
So there's good and bad to both, I think.
It's just such a wide range that you can have a Super Bowl party, don't you think? You can have the corporate with your work, you can have with your friends, you can have with your family, you can have the solo or small group because you want to watch the game. It's totally in the air. It's the only holiday that is completely open to interpretation, however you watch it, when you start watching it as well. It's really weird. And I've done more the Omar one where I've done it solo or a few people the years past, and you can listen to everything that's going on. And then like there's such build up too. Like I started the pregame like at noon and I'm just watching whatever's on, and NBC is searching for segments. They have every segment known to man: food, They have they have every single girl's version of flag football story to play. They have the one bummer story where someone gets cancer and then recovers, and there's just shows nonstop. And then, of course, I did my usual. I'm always curious what alternative programming is going on the other channels. So
Right.
I watched. There was a little golf.
I watched the
there?
Waste Management is a great tournament to watch.
Yep. I watched some golf. Was on one. I think there was motocross on another one was going on. And in the local news here, had one of the better ones where they just kind of are doing tailgate recipes. And I think recipes works every time. I don't think there's any segment you can do with recipes that isn't at least a bit entertaining. So pretty full day of football action. There's such buildup. And then you just hope that it's a good game. You're just like, I hope it lives up to all this hype.
Well, speaking, I think I texted you about this, Patrick, and I should have texted you too, Diamante. I texted Patrick last night that what I miss about the 24 to 48 hours leading up to the Super Bowl is that on NFL Films, they show the 30-minute episodes of each Super Bowl. I mean, from Super Bowl 1 through 50 whatever, all of them are played in a row, and it's just a great kind of build up, and you kind of like, oh, I remember that one, and
Yeah.
I guess it's too many of them nowadays that, you just, that'd be a real long time, but I miss that. I really do.
What did they show what did they show last night? It was just
Well, Cinemax was playing the lingerie bowl. I saw that.
Why, you really wasted a text with that, Omar. You texted me you wish they showed the old Super Bowls, and you didn't tell me that there was a lingerie bowl going on. I still had time for a free trial, and here you are leaving me hanging. The whole season, man. We're supposed to be in unison, and you leave me hanging for a lingerie bowl. I do remember they'd show NFL greatest games, and they would just go Super Bowl 1, and they would just start it, and then you would sort of just try and stay up all night. It was like a marathon. And you would try and stay up all night and prep yourself. And once they got to like the 80s and 90s, then you would be like, oh, yeah, okay, here we go. We got all the games I remember and love. And then I thought of this because Cincinnati was going to have like schools closed and stuff on Monday. Do you remember one of like the first long conversations me and you got into, Omar, like in the third grade, was how schools should be closed on Monday after the Super Bowl? We were pissed. We were pissed off in school. Be like, why do we have to come to school on Monday? The Super Bowl's on Sunday. And like, we were going to like we're going to like write a letter or something.
You know what's sad about Cincinnati is like, what a depressing day. It's like, now people are like locked up in their house. It's, it's cold out in Cincinnati. They're locked up and they have like an extra day to think about the loss. I think I'd rather go to school.
And it's Valentine's Day tomorrow.
And it's Valentine's.
This is a tough one. This is going to be a tough 24 hours for the losing team city.
Nothing's going to be sincere tomorrow. In
Nothing.
Cincinnati.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. That's the other thing. The Super Bowl is just the loser. It's so deflating. The season's over. The confetti's on the field, and then you have so long to go. Like I think Cincinnati will be a little.
The 49ers have played in 2 Super Bowls recently, and both have been losses. I mean, I'd rather my team go 0-16 than lose the Super Bowl. It's the worst feeling in the world.
I've lost the Super Bowl too, Omar. Oakland lost to Tampa Bay that one year, and it was a blowout, and you just feel disgusted with yourself. And it was the weird thing about a blowout Super Bowl as well is there's always a play in the third quarter or early fourth where your team gets a touchdown and then they're down 3 touchdowns. And then you have to like start to think, can we come back? And then you start getting texts saying like, it's not over. And then the next series it's over. And then you have to relive the disappointment. I remember that of the Super Bowl. Oakland lost. There was that long touchdown pass and they're like, we're in it. And nope, right back to be down 28 points. So, well, the Super Bowl was today. We have a ton to get to, so let's start right from the beginning. Let's start big picture. What did you love about this game? Let's start with you, Omar. What did you love about Super Bowl 56? By the way, can I say before you start, I used to know Roman numerals because of Super Bowls. I don't know what 56 looks like in Roman numerals anymore. I don't know the L's. I don't know the V's.
LV1.
I'm out on Roman numerals.
LVI. LVI.
LVI. Levi.
LVI. Um, what I
L's the
love
50. Got it.
what I loved is no Mahomes, no Brady, no Roethlisberger, no Manning, and the Niners because apparently that's in the last like several years of
Yeah.
You
but
love that.
but no, it was someone new. As I was rooting for the Bengals because of the underdog angle. But you gotta appreciate what we're witnessing with Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp, Matt Stafford. I mean, these are guys that we can't say don't deserve it. I mean, they've paid their dues, and I'm glad for them, even though they're a division rival. And that was another reason I was going for the Bengals. I was Niner loving, Ram hating, but that you can't argue that they've paid their dues in the league. So that's what I loved about the game.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very good. That's very true.
What about you, D? What'd you love about this game?
Same here. Like you didn't come in this. I mean, coming from Omar, he probably didn't want the Rams to win, but like me personally, like I didn't care who won. Like everybody all week long for the last 2 weeks, actually, for the past 2 weeks, they kept asking me who was I going for. I was like, I don't even know. I said Rams one day, I said the Bengals the next day. It was fresh. It wasn't me trying to hate on Tom Brady. It wasn't me like trying to root for Tom Brady.
And D,
Yeah.
you remember when the Eagles were the
Yeah.
Super Bowl? I mean, I'm sure that killed you, right?
Yeah, it's like forget these guys, right?
It's like where those school playground bullies were just like, I could
Yeah.
kick their ass.
You got to say that. You definitely have to say that.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I like that we had new blood. Yeah, we had new blood in this game. Stafford never been to a Super Bowl. The Cup never been to a Super Bowl. Donald, young Joe Burrow, the young coach. It was like a totally new chapter that we were getting to read chapter 1 of. So I definitely was down with that. And I was like saying beforehand, like, I'm going to be sad for whatever team loses. I'm bummed for whatever team loses this game. And can I say, like, I'm driving around where I live here in Los Angeles, hometown Rams. I saw equal parts Ram gear and equal parts Raider gear in this town. It's just Raiders for some reason will never leave Los Angeles.
That's good. Well, I like that.
For some strange reason.
How crazy was it? Go
ahead.
I was gonna say, how crazy was it when they showed the two coaches up there? We were older than those fuckers.
Oh,
Yeah.
36 and 38 years old.
That's rule number 34, why I hate sports. At some point, not only are the players younger than you, the coaches become younger than you.
Yeah.
With the Bengals, you know what I got worried about the Bengals? Never bet on an underdog that everybody loves. You know, like when an underdog gains steam, it usually happens in the NCAA where like a Valparaiso or a Butler gets into the Elite Eight and everybody's like, oh, now I'm for this team. That's when they lose. So I was getting Bengal nervous on Wednesday or Thursday because everybody was on the Bengals, just like everybody was on the 49ers 2 weeks ago. I was like, now it's too much attention. What I loved about the game is storylines. We had Stafford, Donald, the Burrow-Chase combination, the underdog Bengals. There was plenty of stuff to get into. Then I loved the rare defensive battle that happened in this game from the third quarter into the middle of the fourth. Was something I don't think anybody predicts these days. No one says this is going to be a defensive battle. And then final drive. A Super Bowl ended on the final drive. That's really rare. That's exciting. And then the fact that this was a Super Bowl that was presented by Los Angeles. So we had Hollywood, we had celebrities all over. It's like they just leaned into it. The Rock is going to MC this game, essentially. And they just plenty of shots of the West Coast. And I was thinking, like, what a kick in the ass to all the people in the Midwest. Have to watch sunny California, have to see 84 degrees, and they look out their window, and it's snowy and cold. And then I thought the halftime show was awesome. I thought the halftime show
was fantastic.
Was enjoyable. And then I'm also going to put that in my list of rule number 47. that has become Snoop Dogg has become our classic rock. I'm watching that and be like, oh man, this is classic rock. You know, remember when the Super Bowl was doing the Rolling Stones and U2 and Tom Petty, and be like, oh, classic rock. Now we've become the classic rock.
Oh, what? Okay, I guess we'll save these for our thoughts. But man, I thought I needed to hit the gym. 50 Cent needs to be right next to me.
That dude was big. He's
That guy
huge.
was huge,
Good
man.
God.
Someone had a tweet that 50 Cent has now become Bitcoin.
I saw
Thick
50
dude.
Cent is now a whole dollar.
That's pretty good. And the winners and losers of the halftime show, 50 Cent is going to be getting a little shade for coming out a little husky, a little bit of a thick build.
How did you guys feel about? I just felt I respect Kendrick Lamar. I really do. But I just thought that I don't know if he's done enough to warrant that kind of headlining Super Bowl with the headliners he was with. Dino, what do you think about that?
Yeah, well, the reason why he was there was he was kind of like that bridge of the gap of the new school to the old school. So he was that bridge, and he's very well respected on the West Coast, right? So and he was jamming. I liked it. I actually tweeted about it. I was like, Lamar's like he jams, but you have to also understand that a lot of these songs were also produced on the West Coast side from Dre. I'm not sure if you guys noticed all that. So
I did know. I mean, obviously it was a Dre. It was definitely Dre's
Yes.
night. It was
Yes.
definitely Dre.
So that's-
Dre followed
Yes.
up his divorce with a awesome Super Bowl performance.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. So that's
Super
what
Bowl
it was.
halftime show presented by Dr. Dre.
It was the connection.
By
It
Dr.
was
Dre's
the
lawyers.
bridge. And he looked
Look at-
young. Did you see how young he looked? Wow.
It looks
He looked
good.
Super young. Yeah, he looked super young.
Did you catch in my hours of pre-Super Bowl watching, they were doing a thing where, you know, Snoop Dogg is a Pee-wee football coach, and his team made it to the Super Bowl, except they call it the Snooper Bowl. And I think they played it in the actual stadium in SoFi. And, you know, Snoop is just ultimate dad, good coach. He's like, shake their hands, homies. We'll be back. Because I think his team loses. And he's got these little kids that are like 65% equipment. And he's like got them like giving high fives. And like Snoop has become our dads now, apparently. So I watched that. It was called the Super Bowl. Were you expecting any more surprise guests from the Super Bowl? I thought we would do one more, and it didn't happen. Who would you?
They didn't show that many people. Like besides
No, they
the
didn't.
halftime show, they didn't like put their camera on a lot of different celebrities. They did the usuals, right?
Yeah.
The LeBron Jameses, right? They did the Jay-Z. The reason why they did Jay-Z so much is because he's the one that was, I guess he's on some type of committee with the NFL that put all this together. The diversity committee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you didn't see too much out there.
I don't mind the Jay-Z. I think he's great.
Yeah.
I think a little too much attention to Kanye and Antonio Brown.
Mm-hmm.
When
Was
they're
that on
showing-
TV, or was that more social media?
Well, you know, it was social media, but I just thought that it was just lame. I mean, who's gonna show up wearing that mask to a Super Bowl? Can I get out of here?
Yeah, he's a little. He's trying to drop an album soon. Let the guy roll.
You always run the risk. You always run the risk in the Super Bowl of the bum out commercial or the bum out cause that just takes the mood down. There was like the commercial with the blind brothers or something. I was like, oh great, now I'm bummed out. Now this fucking guy's blind and his brother's got to take.
That was the first commercial. I was like, oh no,
Like no, I can't do this. Yeah, like every commercial tells us how we're sexist, how we're racist. I'm like, can I just enjoy the Sunday, please? I'll be racist later. You know what's a good celebrity move too? When they show all the celebrities in the crowd, you know you're a big celebrity when they show you at the biggest game in the world and you're having a conversation, not watching the game. That's a big celebrity move where you're just like, you're like, what are they talking about? They're certainly not watching the game. So that was fun. I'm halfway convinced LeBron just lives at the stadium and whatever game is happening, he's just there and then they can show him.
I watched last night's game as I was looking for old Super Bowls to watch, and LeBron should have been back at crypto and working on his free throws. That's where he should have been.
Yeah. Good gosh, right? Seriously.
Before I go to what didn't you love, are you still with me? Like, remember how I wanted the backup QB camera? I wanted a camera on the backup QB to always be in the corner of the screen. I want to amend it to I want to always see the players' wives in the corner of my screen. I want to have like a little corner of the screen, always have the player's wife in the screen.
I know he was older. I know he's the old man in the league for now with Brady gone, but Whitworth's wife looked like she was having a great time with White Claws and vodkas.
That's why I want that screen. That's why I want players' wives cam. Always there. I love it. All right. Next category. What did you not love about this game? Omar, did you not love anything about this game?
Well, like I told you in the beginning, I had maybe time has passed Al Michaels. You know, he's considered a GOAT. He should be in sports Hall of Fames, different sports Hall of Fames, hockey, football. But it was just such an we are talking about a final drive where the Rams scored inside the 2-minute warning, okay? And then Joe Burrow, who's everybody's darling, has the ball to either tie it or go for the win. And it just seemed like it was like a week 3, 1 o'clock Eastern game at the end, just like, and now the Jets are going to fall to 0-1, and, next week they got the Raiders. It just seemed like so boring,
Mm-hmm.
He was getting ready for the Olympics. He was about to call the Olympics right after, so.
Yeah.
I just, that stuck out in my mind. That just stuck out in my mind, and I thought we'll talk about this next, but I thought the commercials weren't as spectacular.
Yeah.
But as far as the game goes, it was a good game.
I kind of always think that Al Michaels, you could say, is a little stiff, but like you could say that about all of them. Joe Buck is a little stiff, and that is a really hard job as well to call games in real time. But I'm with you. It's almost like I looked down and I said, 46 seconds left in this game?
It didn't feel like it. It didn't feel like it.
This is it.
Yeah.
I would have rather been watching.
It almost felt like a basketball game when you're like,
They got to do something with him and Michelle.
You trailed off. You ran out of words.
They got to. I would have rather watched the damn Super Bowl on the Nickelodeon broadcast.
Yeah, you're right.
Slime time. It was weird. Like, we didn't even get it. The stage was set for Collinsworth to say, "Here we go, Al. We got Joe Burrow. We got the best kicker in the league to tie the game." And we never got that stage setting.
No.
And then they opened with 2 good passes. And I said, like, 15 more yards, and they've got a field goal attempt. And then all of a sudden it's 4th down. They run it out of the shotgun. They don't get it. And then we're 2 knees away, and the game's over. So it seemed like we blinked, and we're like, oh, that was it. That was the drive. I didn't even think of it until you brought it up.
Yeah, maybe the NBC needs to start revamping what they're doing within sports. Get the old out, right? Because I know I tweeted earlier, they did the Super Bowl in 4K last year, and they didn't even do the Super Bowl in 4K this year. And I'm a big
I saw that too.
Big video audio guy. Obviously with 4K, there's even 8K televisions out there these days. Why wouldn't you broadcast the Super Bowl in 4K? Right?
Yeah.
That's weird to me. That's so strange. So Michaels needs to go. They need to revamp what they're doing at NBC for sure.
Now, as far as an excuse, I'll give him an excuse. There have been talks that this may be the transition, that it's going to be now Collinsworth and Tirico from here on out, which I don't think is going to be a bad team. Now, could you argue that maybe in the last minute, 30-something seconds when Burrow gets the ball, is Al Michaels maybe getting a little emotional? This may be his last big call, and maybe it was just, it's setting in. I could see that as possibly being shit. I mean, maybe maybe it was a little real for him, because that's a long career.
Yeah.
So I may give him the benefit of the doubt because he's been good for so long, but obviously just tonight I thought was not his best.
Yeah, well, that just shows.
Yeah, I'm curious to go.
That he's so self-centered, and
I'm curious to go rewatch it.
Go ahead.
And listen to the rebroadcast of it, because I didn't think of it until you said it, and then I was thinking like, yeah, you're totally right. I looked down and I was like, oh, this is the final drive. It's 4th down, and I guess that's it.
You look down and you tell yourself, oh, wait a minute, shit, Burrow's got to score. Like, you told yourself that.
Yeah, I called my own game. You know what? Next year, Omar, we're calling games.
Yeah.
I had, for what I did not love about this game was just the dead third quarter. Just the 3 and outs, the one first down and then punts. Of course, the final Cincinnati drive, 4th and 1 from the shotgun. We'll talk about that later. And then what did you think about this? The chance for a shared MVP. I thought Donald and Kupp were very worthy candidates for the rare shared MVP, because Kupp had the one drive that was MVP worthy. Sure, Donald he had 2 touchdowns. Yeah, he was a worthy MVP, but I thought the defense in that third quarter was very worthy. So I thought, what about a shared MVP? Okay. So I would have been happy with that.
I'm with you because I think Aaron Donald definitely deserved consideration, but here's where I'm going to give it to Kupp. Is just because he was so clutch. Because there was, after Beckham went down, like, they had nothing going on.
Nothing.
I mean, even Stafford was looking like Detroit Lions, 2013 Stafford. You know what I mean? It just it was looking very, very bleak. And I just think that if it wasn't for Kupp, we wouldn't be talking Rams Super Bowl right now. So,
Kupp, that last drive was so great. It was Jordan Pippen-esque. It was Kupp, and then don't forget the touchdown he caught where he takes a massive hit that got called back.
Yeah.
That is worthy of MVP. So everything distilled down to that final drive, which was pretty awesome. That
deserved it.
I think he's very deserving. I thought it would just be cool to have a dual
Donald,
one.
I feel like Donald showed up on that last drive, or that maybe the 4th quarter. I mean, he had the sack to end the game, but and then the play right before that, he actually stuffed the running back.
That running play was great.
Yeah.
So 2 plays. I mean, it's kind of hard to give a defensive guy unless you're Von Miller stripping Cam Newton 3 times in a game, right?
And a touchdown. And a touchdown.
It's kind of hard to give a defensive guy that, right?
Yeah, it would have been a stretch. Maybe a turnover or something would have made the case better, but it was a thought I had. Well, let's go into thoughts. I got a list of thoughts throughout the game. First thought I had, NBC essentially had a 4-hour commercial for Los Angeles tourism. Every shot is the pier. Every shot is the Hollywood sign. Yeah. Every shot is the lake. How badly do you want to go do a visit to Los Angeles in February after this? Did this bother you? No more player intros. Has this not been a thing, or is this the first year they didn't do it? Because I really missed it. Did they do it last year?
I couldn't remember.
I can't remember
what
either.
Happened. I missed the beginning. What happened at the beginning?
Offense, as the teams are coming out of the tunnel, each team individually coming out of the tunnel, they're announcing offense and defense. So it's the same thing, basically. Jalen Ramsey, Florida. Florida.
And they came out as a team. Didn't we have this as a bet last week?
They both just ran out as a team.
Both ran, and it seemed like it was definitely just that was already planned.
Didn't we have this as a bet?
Oh, yeah, that's true. They both came out as a team.
Yeah, so whoever won that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed the player intros. You get to see their eyes. You get to see if they're nervous or not. You get to see the Ray Lewis dance. What if we had no player intros and we don't get the Ray Lewis dance that one year?
That's crap.
Did not like that we skipped the player the player intros. That was great. I already said it. Not too many bum out commercials.
No.
And then probably the biggest story in the middle of the game is that Odell injury. The guy is just out of the game. He's crying on the side.
That's huge.
That was pretty huge. Yeah. Did we ever get a report of what happened to him?
It's got to be a torn. I think we're gonna find out tomorrow, but it's got to be a torn ACL.
Yeah, for sure. Same knee that he blew out too.
Non-contact.
Was it the same one?
Yeah. Same knee that he blew out 2020.
And it seemed like he knew it right away. The ball touched his hands, he planted, and then he dropped the ball and he was instantly down. Big injury in the middle of the game there. How about the Cincinnati celebration penalty where the guy runs from the sideline and gets penalized?
Oh. Yeah, that was pretty stupid.
Who was that guy?
That was
he got a lot of airtime.
It was Vernon Hargraves, and he was a starter.
Oh,
and he's a very he's hurt.
He got traded there.
Cincinnati desperately needed him, playing, not acting like a jackass in the end zone. But
he got traded. Wasn't he with Jacksonville? I know he came from University of Florida. I think he went to another team and they traded him over to Cincinnati. Hargraves. Yeah. He's a first-round draft pick. What a chump.
Did either of you see that and then think the fix was in? Who's got the bet on will there be a taunting penalty in this game? Because he comes off the sideline.
Yeah, we had that bet.
Yeah, I was like, this sounds like a bet. So, and then he's on the sideline. He's got his hood on. He's got the bill of his hat flipped up, and then he got a lot of airtime from NBC after that. Then I thought the fix was in when that Rams place kicker Holder drops the hold. I'm like, there's the mob got to this guy. So the mob has a bet. Will there be a missed extra point? Little fishy there. I wouldn't mind a little investigation. Then we get to the point where neither team can run the ball in the middle of the third quarter. That was brutal. That's boring football. How about the big drop by the Cincinnati receiver on a 3rd and 6, which might have really put the weight on LA Rams at that point. That was a crucial part where it's easy to forget about.
It was crucial, but the 3rd and 1 at the end of the game is what got me. Mixon's a great running back, and I don't know how you don't get him the ball.
You got P. Ryan in there.
Yeah, you got P. Ryan in there. You know what? I didn't get that. Yeah. I didn't get that play at all. I thought it was just a bad, and Zach Taylor's been great all year. I just thought it was just. I thought the final drive was not his finest moment. I think he picked the worst time to choke, which he hadn't done all year. Yeah. So I didn't like that very much.
And then you got to run that twice. I feel you got to run the ball twice.
I do too.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that final drive then, because that was on my next list there.
But before we get there, I see on your game breakdown you say where this game was won. That last drive by the Rams, it just took so much time off the clock. You know what I mean? And then for the referees to keep it alive, I'm sorry, that was a real ticky-tack hold on the Bengals linebacker.
Yep, the linebacker. Yep.
The referees had been really doing a good job keeping the flags in the pockets up until that point. And I thought that was a huge, after that penalty, well, then those other interferences and holds, those were all understandable. But, when you're that close. But, I mean, the Bengals had a shot to stop them.
Yeah, for sure. Was that 3rd down or was that 4th down?
That was a 3rd down play.
Yeah, they were going to have to go for it on 4th down.
Yeah, to go for it, but then a lot more pressure this time. Yep. But I just thought that was a terrible call. But to the Rams' credit, to take up that much time and to make the Bengals start using timeouts, I mean that's every one of us could kill for our teams to have that that ability to do that at the end of a game.
But how great of a coach is McVay to make sure he force feeds Cooper Kupp? Because from when Odell went out till then, I don't think he got maybe but 1 or 2 passes towards his way. Yeah. And I'm like, why are they not using Cooper Kupp? But that drive, he force feeds Cooper Kupp. I think they went after him like I think he had like six targets that drive, 6, 7 targets that drive.
Yeah, you're right. It was
Yeah.
almost like Jordan Game 6 of the NBA Finals. Like,
Yeah.
he just needs a
Have to.
touch. Get him a touch at the end of this court, no matter what. He'll get the ball. And just like you said, they forced it. They're like, hey, get the ball to him. He'll make it happen. And good for Stafford, not forcing any, like, we didn't have that near pick that every final drive seems to have. We're like, oh, and Cup got the interference calls, and they broke it in. I like how they ran a QB sneak for the longest, like 1 yard. Like, you look at the overhead shot, and you're like, there's no way Stafford's going to get this in on a quarterback sneak. I don't think he gained any yards. And then the Cups. Yeah, I agree with you, Omar, of course. The Rams' final drive and then the Rams' final stop on defense was where the game was won. D, do you agree? Final Rams drive, final Rams defensive stop where the game was won?
Yeah, definitely. That's where the game was won.
Yeah.
Had to have been. I mean, because there was that second half, other than the first 3 minutes of the second half, other than that, there was no action between the first 3 minutes
Right.
to the last
No
3 minutes.
action.
There was no action. Everybody was stuck in the middle of the field.
We had the start of the third quarter, touchdown by Cincinnati on the very first play, and then straight to the fourth quarter. Everybody can go order their pizza. Everybody can go to the bathroom. Just come back for the fourth quarter. What was my other part of my game breakdown is nobody really attempted to stretch the field. Did it feel like they threw the ball more than 15 yards the entire second half beyond that one Cincinnati touchdown pass?
You know, and to Jalen Ramsey's credit, I mean, I'm sure you think twice before you throw on Jalen Ramsey, even if you have Jamar Chase. He was able to make a spectacular catch in the first half, and then that
awesome catch.
One-handed. You couldn't tell in real time, but that was a one-handed grab.
Jeez. Beautiful.
And he's on another level. He's on another level of receiver right now.
Immediately.
Yeah. But then also that offensive pass interference that the Bengals got away with. You know, I didn't see much there, but Jalen Ramsey really had a beef. His head got spun.
It was a face mask. It was an offensive face mask.
It was perfectly shielded from the referee as well. You know, he had his back turned. The referee couldn't really see it. And Ramsey is just walking around like dumbfounded. He's like, did anybody see that? I got face masked.
But like, think about the thought process that went into that from Zach Taylor saying, hey, we're going to come out. The very first play we're going to run is we're going to single Jalen Ramsey and see if he's warm or if he's cold coming out of halftime. And we're going to throw a bomb to his side. Like, it is what it is. The guy caught it, you know?
Yeah, that's why I was surprised neither team really would take a shot in the third quarter anytime. I was like, well, let's just take a shot, try and stretch it. Yeah. And they were doing it became the battle of the throwing underneath game and then run on first down, throw underneath, run on the third down. So I thought at least we would see somebody take a shot. That into my next category, that's what surprised me. I thought Jalen Ramsey was getting worked a bit. Do you guys feel that, or am I wrong? It felt like he had the 2 catches. It felt like people were getting space on him. That, for my next category, what surprised me, I thought it was Ramsey was or the receivers were up to Ramsey's game in this as well. What surprised you in this game, Omar? What do you think?
What surprised me? I mean, I think just, you know, I thought that Jamar Chase would have he had a big role, but I thought that, you know, there'd be more of an urgency to force the ball more to him. And I get that, you know, Jalen Ramsey's on him. So that's what I think. Yeah.
D, what surprised you about this game?
There was a lack of running game from both teams. That's what surprised me. It was just pure, you know, passes. There was no running game. I just think the teams could have done a better job trying to run the ball. It shocked me that nobody tried to commit there, and both of them are good running teams.
Do you think it was the commit or was the defense good, or both?
I don't think Cincinnati's defense isn't that great. Like, people are making them seem they're great, but
Didn't they have 2 backup offensive linemen
Yeah.
in there? And Burrow got sacked how many times? 5 times?
Did he?
Oh, he was on the floor most of the game.
At some point, both quarterbacks limp off the field. Burrow limps off. Stafford limps off at one point.
Yep. High ankle sprains.
Tough third quarter for both QBs. Yeah, the Ramsey surprise. Also have what also surprised me is probably the biggest Olympics push I've ever seen by NBC. It's like, please watch the Olympics. Please, after this game's over, you can watch a bobsled. Please watch.
Who watches that? Who watches the Winter Olympics? Who really does? My wife, maybe.
I don't think a lot of people watch it, but I think this year's been especially brutal. I don't think anybody has watched it at all, and I think NBC was like, well, we got this platform, so let's at least go down swinging, and maybe someone can watch the Olympics. Because did you see they even put a ticker when the game ended? It said 6 minutes till Olympics. Like, no, keep it on the NFL. Just show the players jumping up and down. We don't want to watch women's bobsled. That surprised me, and it also surprised me that it seems that there is about 2,000 shows streaming on Peacock that I have never heard of. Like, how many shows are streaming? Am I just out of it? I knew of none of them. Although I'm pretty pumped to see that Jurassic Park movie. I'm all in.
that was good.
I'm all in. Yeah, I'm all in on that. Bring everybody back. Let's see some dinosaurs, and let's go Jurassic Park. Let's just never stop making them.
Hey, as long as Goldblum's back.
He's back. He's back. We got Sam
Neill.
Neill.
Look like he's aged at all.
He doesn't. I'm all in for Goldblum. The only thing left is they need him to like come in riding a dinosaur like a horse or something.
Did you guys feel like everything was like a throwback? So they had throwback commercials. They had the Sopranos people coming out. They had Will Smith coming out. There was another commercial that I felt like it was a throwback. I can't think of it right now. And then we got Jurassic Park throwing it back. Like, come on.
Right.
Everything was a throwback. The halftime show was a throwback.
Halftime was a throwback. What did you feel about the commercial? What commercial was the best one? I don't feel like any of them.
I like the Sopranos. Chevy.
The baby talking was
I liked it.
funny.
The NFL one with the players, the
little
animated
miniature players. That was the best one. That was the best one.
That was good, but for the most part, they were bad commercials.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
I'm inclined to agree with you. I can't think of anything that stood out or something.
The Seth Rogen Lay's commercial, I thought that was weak. The Doritos one with the sloth, I thought that was.
What about
weak.
Coinbase? What about Coinbase with just the QR code going?
I went up to my TV and got that.
Me too. I was like, what commercial is this?
That might have been the most effective commercial then.
It probably was.
I'm with you that Paul Rudd, Seth Rogen one had such potential. And like they did 3 of those jokes and like we got the bit. It didn't go anywhere after that. You're like, oh, okay, I get what they're doing. But it just kept doing. It was a bad SNL sketch at that point. So next category, where does this Super Bowl rank? Top 5, top 10, not even in there.
It was a close game. I mean, it was still a close game, but I think maybe Al Michaels had something to do with it. I think I could have been enjoying it a little more. So I'm gonna put it. Maybe look. We've had 56 of these. I'm gonna put it in the top half somewhere.
Really?
Yeah, sure.
That just top half? Yeah, top half.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, we had 20-16 at the start of the fourth quarter. That's an awesome game. For some reason, we didn't have that one moment where a punt return was a touchdown or something really exciting happened. It just all of a sudden we were down to 2 minutes and the Rams got a touchdown and it was like, all right, last drive, here we go, 4th down.
Totally different game if Odell Beckham's there. So totally different game.
Yeah, that's true. Let me rattle off a couple of good Super Bowls and a couple of bad Super Bowls to refresh your memory. I wrote down 3 good Super Bowls. Bills-Giants, the wide right game. Steelers-Cardinals, the crazy Fitzgerald / Ben Roethlisberger / who was the Pittsburgh defender? Harrison that ran the ball back. And then Yes, and then all the New England Super Bowls. Good Super Bowls, bad Super Bowls, Pittsburgh, Seattle, Oakland, Tampa Bay, San Francisco, San Diego. A bunch of blowouts. The Pittsburgh, Seattle one, I remember just a million penalties, a million drop balls. And just when it ended, I just wanted to say, like, can you just start over? Just start the game over. This doesn't count. So thinking that, Super Bowl, this Super Bowl is top half. I might say top 20. I'm going to give it I'm going to give it 20th. I think
I'm with you. It wasn't bad.
But
It's in the top.
It was entertaining.
I bet I could find 19 Super Bowls I would rewatch before this one, and I'll give this one 20th.
Yeah, it was entertaining.
Well, you know what? I'd give you an honest answer, but I wouldn't know because the NFL Network didn't put on the fucking episodes of these Super Bowls.
This might be the most riled up Omar has been all season, and it's based around cable programming. You know, Omar, you can go to YouTube. You can watch all these on YouTube. I watched America's.
I need to see it on the freaking guide on my TV.
We pay the cable company for a reason, right? We want them to.
Yes,
exactly. For us.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you. Remember in the old days, since we're gonna go down old man road. Remember in the old days where you would turn on cable and it would be USA Network or TNT and like The Fugitive would be 25 minutes in and you'd be like, stop everything. I'm watching The Fugitive. Like we don't have
Scarface or
Scarface or something, or like Independence Day's on and you're just like, all right, I'm watching this. This is what I will rewatch right now. It's on TV. Or you call your buddy and be like, such and such is on. I don't know if younger people will ever enjoy that sensation of just flipping channels and finding something awesome halfway through. And you're like, I'm going to watch this now. And maybe that's what the NFL Network / ESPN2 should take heed to, is like, hey, just play some old games, play some old highlights, get people hooked. All right, let's go. We've done it all season, but now this is the final one, the season finale of the awards. I have a few categories to throw at you with nominees. So we're at the end of the season. We always did all week. Me and Omar did who won the weekend. But now we can ask who won the season. So this year, 2021, who won the season? Nominees are, or add your own, the Rams GM for getting Stafford, Von Miller, and Odell Beckham Jr., playoff football, Tom Brady, or Aaron Rodgers. Who won the season? I am personally going to give, if I'm the Rams GM, I'm telling everybody that I made this happen this year. So I'm going to say the Rams GM won the season. Yeah. What do you think, D? Who won the 2021 NFL season?
It's got to be us, the fans, right? I guess I could go both ways here. I can kind of say that the NFL didn't win the season by adding an extra game this year. I also don't think that they should have an extra playoff team. So I know that's the next category, who didn't win.
Right.
But I mean, playoff football this year was great.
Yeah, it absolutely was.
It's probably one of the best playoffs ever that I can remember, where every game was so close and it came down to one play at the end.
No doubt.
Us as fans, I think we won playoff football this year.
The fans won the season. Hard to argue against that. Playoff football. Tom Brady going off into the sunset. I think that's a cool storyline.
He's coming back. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced he's done.
Oh, okay.
I just don't feel,
hold on. Are we locking it in? Is this a lock it in?
You got to say lock it in if this is your lock it in prediction.
I'm locking it in already.
We have 7 months.
He's on his little vacation right now. They've been pictures of him. He was throwing footballs to Beckham, the soccer player's son in the ocean, and then they have a picture of him and Giselle. Giselle's looking old, and what I was thinking the entire time, He just needs to knock up Giselle so she can get off his ass about being at
Oh,
home.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just knock her up so he can play a couple more years.
All right, I'm writing you down right now. Lock it in. Tom Brady returns. Where does he come back to? Where do you want Cowboys to pick him up? Just say it right now if you want the Cowboys to pick him up.
Not even close. Nope. He'll
Really?
be back in Tampa. He'll be back in Tampa.
Back to Tampa? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you lock it in. This might be the earliest lock it in prediction ever. I almost feel that Aaron Rodgers thinks he won the season. I think he thinks he won. He got the NFL MVP. His hair is now down to the middle of his back. And I think he thinks he pulled one over everybody this season. But I think the fans, that's probably a good way to think about it, is the fans won. Playoff football was amazing this year. Can't argue with that. So those are good picks.
With the exception of the seventh seed games, the 2 versus 7 games. Those were the worst games I've ever seen by far. Pittsburgh got blown out and the Eagles got blown out. Like,
right.
They should have never even been there.
Get rid of the 7. Okay. I can go with that. Yeah. They just did that starting last year, right?
Yeah. I don't know if that's something that every year, because usually there's a team that starts building momentum that comes in. But this year was the year that they could have done without the 7th seed.
Okay. What about you, Omar? Who won the season?
I think that teams with the strong franchise quarterback, build around a quarterback, and I think it's, you can't build around, you can't build around Jimmy G, okay?
How did I know you were going to find a way to shit on Jimmy G on this show?
But,
Poor Jimmy G.
But you do build around, whether they're young or older, give a guy like Stafford the tools.
Right.
Build around Joe Burrow. Build around Josh Allen. Build around Mahomes. Veterans like Tom Brady. It can be done young. It can be done old. But you need a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe that's a good write-in. Franchise quarterbacks win the season. Maybe franchise quarterbacks under 25 years old win the season.
It could be that, or you can go from worst to first immediately.
That's true too. Because the Bengals were what last year? 3 and something?
I mean, they had the number 1 pick 2 years ago. That's why they got Burrow, and then they had top 10 pick last year. That's how they got Chase. So,
who lost the season this year? Nominees include Urban Meyer / John Gruden, the Lions and the Jared Goff trade, or Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers could have lost the season too. Who do you think lost the season? We'll start with you, Omar.
I think the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I just think it was.
I totally agree. I totally agree. Just a horrible playoff record for Rodgers.
It's a horrible playoff record, but then you keep in mind
bad.
all the nonsense he was causing off the field and the things he was saying.
Yeah, at the beginning
and
of
the
the
fact
year.
that the way he kind of hated Brett Favre for holding a franchise hostage when Brett Favre, which he did when Brett Favre was leaving, and then he did the exact same nonsensical thing, and probably even I appreciate Favre. At least he was trying to get a hand job, during a massage.
There's the Carmona lawyer I know.
And then here Aaron's trying to make sure people don't get vaccinated. But I just think it was the Packers. Obviously, shit. I mean, the Raiders lost big. I mean, just forget what losing in the playoffs. Just everything that happened. Their coach. I think the Redskins lost. I'm sorry. Oops.
Commanders.
The Commanders.
Commodores.
The Commies.
The Commies.
Commies.
I think they lost bad, team. And they're still gonna lose. I mean, their loss isn't finally written. I think there were a lot of losers this year too.
NFL with their lack of hiring black coaches, they're losers.
Lack of hiring black coaches. You still got quarterbacks that, what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson. It's pretty sad.
I would even go with the fucking salary cap. Excuse my language, but like, what's up with the salary cap? Like, how did the Rams put together a team the way they put it together a team this year without
Well,
blowing the salary cap?
well, I just
That
think
doesn't make
that
sense to me.
the NFL rules are as such where like they can always be restructuring everyone's contract gets restructured in the
Yeah,
NFL. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Where you appreciate the NBA where they have more power because the players say, no, you're not restructuring anything on my deal,
yeah.
okay?
Everything's
Um,
guaranteed.
and
Yep.
so yeah, and I think that's where the NFL players, where the teams are beneficial. But also, if you want to talk about some disparities in the NFL, you have a black quarterback like Deshaun Watson who has not been convicted of anything. Okay, he has
Yeah.
not been. Maybe this is the defense lawyer in me speaking, but he has not had his day in court. But then also at the same time, Daniel Snyder gets to say, hey,
Yeah.
this is what I'm going to release to the world, and I'm going to keep doing my job and F you. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge. NFL isn't very even-handed. It's like, oh, we want transparency when we want to make sure that there's X amount of pounds in a football as far as air goes. There needs to be transparency. But when this owner is basically harassing people, cheerleaders. No, it's okay. We can keep this a secret. You know what I mean? It's just it doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
Bountygate. Bountygate is another
Hmm.
example of that. What did you know and when did you know it? And
Hmm.
he was secret of the information he knew. I just think the NFL is just such a juggernaut, and I almost don't feel like you can ever put reins on this at some point. Like, you're gonna have a season and you're gonna have 10 stories that make you look horrible, and you're gonna have 10 stories that make you sound good. And I just don't know how they can put a
It,
winning season together year after year. There's always
it's
going to be that.
impossible. It's impossible because at the end of the day, when Goodell sits with the other 32 owners of the league and he looks around the conference table and says, remember, I know this is going, I know A's happening and B's happening and C's happening. But at the end of the day, just remember, we can't ruin the TV deals that we all have, okay?
Sure. Yeah. We're all here to make a profit, which is I'm
let's
fine with.
not ruin a good thing. And I think that's where
Yeah.
the NFL, the priority is always going to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think everybody knows that. I think, all right, let's keep churning this out. Well, what about just big picture, make a prediction? How long is Goodell the commissioner for? Do you think he has 5 more years, 10 more years? Do you think he ever
He's not
steps
going
down?
nowhere. Like, he's going through a whole bunch of crap that he could be, crucified for, but he
He's
just
beat it all. He's beat it all.
he's beating it he's beating everything.
That's true. Maybe Goodell won the season.
And I gotta
Yeah.
even say for my boy Ezekiel Elliott, he took a 6-game suspension and never got prosecuted. He was innocent, but because he's a Dallas Cowboy, he takes a 6-game suspension.
Because you think Goodell has it because he's a Cowboy, huh?
Yeah, has to be.
Did you ever hear
Something
the
wrong
thing?
there.
Maybe this is just me, the podcast I listen to. Remember Papa John? Remember how he got fired from his own company? Have you ever heard that he has recordings of Jerry Jones, him, and another NFL owner trying to get Goodell out? Jerry Jones is very outspoken of wanting Goodell out. And he's got all the recordings of stuff going on where it was a hit job on him, Papa John. And it was really interesting. It's from a couple months ago. He was on a podcast with somebody, and it seems like there's a whole season going on that we don't see of NFL owners striking deals, going against each other. Yeah, it's almost like a Succession TV show that we as the fans, like, we don't see. Of course, we can't see. These are behind doors, closed deals. And whatever little crumb we get, affirmative action hiring, stuff off the field, like they'll give us that, and we'll sort of we'll chomp at the bit for that. But there's no way we know the real meat of what goes on behind these closed doors. We get to watch the games, we get to cheer it on, but there's a world going on there that I just wish I could be a fly on the wall sometimes of. Beyond that, I have no thoughts on the matter. Next category. What did the NFL get right this year? I'm just going to say competitive games. It seemed like we had every game turns into a basketball game, and there's always a shot for the team that's down the last 2 minutes. So I'm going to go competitive games and young QBs. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray. It seems like we're in quarterback era where everybody has a quarterback they can root for. Even my guy, I still root for Derek Carr. I like him.
It's not what they got right. It's just I'd like to look at this as what they can get right. I would like to see some tweaks, obviously, in overtime, and I would like to see some tweaks with the use of instant replay as it pertains. I know this is a huge issue as it pertains to penalties. Okay, because I just think that a ticky-tack play like that on third down, granted. Could Stafford have, scored a touchdown the following play? Yes, with Cooper Kupp, high likelihood, but still to lose a game like that, and considering with all the technology we have, the different camera angles we have, there's got to be someone that's going to second guess. You don't want to lose games like this in the fourth quarter because of a flag. It's just not cool, and that's where fans get turned away.
Yeah, the transparency in the game is the ultimate buy-in. Sports is the ultimate fair contest. Everybody has to play by the same rules: tall, short, fast. The best players play, and then we get to see who wins. And when something doesn't go by the rules, it's so unsatisfying. I don't want to bring up my team, but there was a whistle before that touchdown. Sorry, rant over. What about you, D? What did the NFL get right this year?
They got the competitiveness right. I mean, the teams are totally competitive. I think I could probably poke more holes on what they got wrong than what they got right.
Well, that's coming up.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, I think this year was probably the NFL's highest viewing rate, and even compared to last year, we were in obviously we're still in a pandemic, but everybody was home last year, and they still had higher ratings this year than they did last year. So the visibility of the Shield, I mean, that's what they get right, man. Everybody's looking at the NFL. Everybody.
Yeah, I do feel every sport, NBA, Major League, looks to the NFL like, here's a successful model. How can we mimic what they're doing? Sometimes they do it better, but ultimately the NFL is king of it. Next category, what did the NFL get wrong this year? I have 3. The taunting call, overtime, we mentioned, and I wrote replay as well. I think the taunting call was just too subjective. I said it before at the beginning of the season, like, what is the taunting call the new what is a catch question? Or like, oh, he winked at me. Up, taunting.
Yeah.
Not
overtime. We got to look at overtime. This has been and then a replay.
I'm going to go with NFL gave Aaron Rodgers a mic, and that was a mistake.
Yeah.
How did they give him a mic, though? What did the NFL give him? What do you mean?
Just letting him talk anywhere.
But don't you think that adds to the drama? Don't you want to see? Don't you want to hear what he has to say to see if see how crazy or what he's up to?
This is America, so you got to have everybody's viewpoint. So I'm okay with him giving him a mic.
I'm not upset with anything Aaron Rodgers says. I find it interesting, but I find him to be an interesting character, and the fact that he plays well makes it that more compelling. Because, like, is this guy a bad guy? Is he a heel? Is he really good?
Except in the playoffs.
And in the playoffs, which becomes disappointing because it's like, dude, your conference championship record is so poor for as good as you've played. And
they talk shit about Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. Come on. Give it to the Green Bay Packers just as much, man. Come on.
Hey, what about this idea? I was kicking around ideas for the Super Bowl. What if one day the Super Bowl is in Hawaii, where they always have the Pro Bowl, or where they used to always have the Pro Bowl? Wouldn't that be cool? Number one, I don't think it can happen because I think Hawaii would sink. because too many people would be on the island, and I don't think there's physically enough hotels. But that would be cool. And then I thought, what if at some point every Super Bowl is at every different stadium in the league? Like, what if we had a Green Bay Super Bowl? What if we had a Seattle Super Bowl one year? I think that would be interesting. Weather might really affect it, but I think that'd be cool if we're just picking new stadiums for the Super Bowl to be at.
That we already had one in Green Bay. I don't think it's an issue with geography when it comes to the Super Bowl selection. I think it comes down to the teams the cities. I shouldn't say that, but the teams and cities that are willing to throw down serious cash on brand new state-of-the-art stadiums.
Yeah,
you know?
I think that's where this idea gets killed ultimately.
We're not gonna see a Super Bowl in Mile High or Gillette, or these stadiums are slowly becoming outdated, and when you have what Jerry Jones did in Jerry World, what Davis did in Vegas, Rams did with SoFi. You're gonna have to throw down some serious cash if you want to be in the hunt for a Super Bowl, and that's what they've done.
Yeah, like you said earlier, the goal is to grow exponentially every year, and this would be more of a meritocracy. Everybody gets a turn, and that's just not going to happen. Even though it'd be fun in my own Pat Ramirez world.
No, I mean, imagine a Super Bowl in Green Bay or in Buffalo. That'd be awesome.
Buffalo, yeah. The two teams would almost be punished for making the Super Bowl that year. That would be rough.
I almost feel like some of these college stadiums can host a better Super Bowl than some of these NFL stadiums.
Yeah, what about a Super Bowl in the Swamp?
Seriously.
What about a Super Bowl in Baton Rouge? That'd be cool.
Or in Alabama, right?
Yeah,
Tuscaloosa. Yeah. Right. Yeah, that'd be cool. What about you, D? What did the NFL get wrong this year? Taunting, overtime, replay, or add your own?
I mean, the taunting call, that was horrible. And I've been saying it all year. I think they got wrong with the 7th seed this year. The 7th seed, they got it wrong this year.
Yeah.
This is and so I'm counting now. Last year they had the 7th seed, correct? This is the second year that they did it. So last year was this is the second year, right?
Yeah. So they added it last year because of the COVID stuff.
Yep. So last year was good. This year was bad. I want to see what next year is. So I really don't think they should have expanded it to 7 teams. The 6 teams is fine.
Yeah.
Win your division, you're in, and then 2 wild card teams.
Right. I think most people would agree. I think it was fun for 2 years, but we know what the result is now. We can go back to 6.
I also think what they got wrong is let me go back to what they got right. I think they got right the kicking the field goal from the 25-yard line.
Yeah.
Is that where they're kicking it now?
Mm-hmm.
I think they got that right. Because
you like
they're
that?
Missing,
I like it too.
They're missing a lot of field goals there. What they got wrong is the kickoff. I know they're trying to keep from having more concussions, things like that, but there's just no more kickoffs anymore. Like it's very rare that you get an actual return. So I think they got that wrong too.
Kickoff, the kickoff has slowly gotten neutered over the last few years. Not only are they all touchbacks, as soon as the ball touches the ground in the end zone, it's a touchback. The receiver doesn't even have to field that. How about overtime? Change overtime for me now. What do you think?
Yeah.
How would you change it?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I think they play I think they play the whole quarter, as opposed to whoever scores first.
15-minute quarter? Would you modify it?
The whole quarter. Play the whole quarter. Play the whole quarter.
I like that.
Whoever wins wins.
I'd be okay with that.
I think that's the most pure answer, because I don't like when you play a whole game and then the overtime is some modified version of the game you just played. Like the college one is so silly. The college one is ridiculous. And I was like, we just played a certain way for 60 minutes. Now we got to play a different way. So just play a whole quarter. And if
Play the whole quarter.
yeah, and the NFL doesn't go for that, then I would say, well, just give the other team a chance to match. You scored a touchdown, let the other team try and match it.
Yeah.
So I'd go for that. And then replay. I'll say replay. I think we're going to be talking about changing replay till the day we die. I don't think there's. I think it's just we'll just kind of re-talk about, oh, we should do this, we should do that, use this technology, play it in real time, play it in slow motion. I just think it's evergreen. We'll always talk about.
Here's where I go. If you can use replay at spotting a ball, is it close to a first down or not? I mean, that is so freaking hard to come up with evidence that says the spot was wrong. Okay, it's such a hard thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't you do penalties then?
Yeah, and they've been talking about putting a chip in the nose of the footballs, and they being able to be tracked within the field, because you have goal line situations a lot. I know Dak Prescott earlier in the season, one of the games that they lost, they ended up losing that game. He gets a touchdown, but they say it wasn't a touchdown. I forget what team that was against, but it was early. They went for it on third down and fourth down. Oh, and then on the fourth down, he fumbles the ball because it gets punched out of his hands. But the play before that, he scored the touchdown, and they called it a non-score. You know what I mean?
You know what?
So
not even a chip. Forget that. You know how like clothing stores put that little computer chip on their clothing, and if you walk through the gates with it, it beeps. Just do that. Just put one of those on the ball. Put the little tag, and then an employee has to walk up and take it off.
Yeah.
That we'd know if they cross the line that way.
Sure.
Let's go next category. Unless you have another thing the NFL got wrong. Here's going to be my new favorite category. Way too early. We did way too early predictions all year, but now we can do way too early, since this is the end of the season and the next season is 7 months away. I got one question for both you guys for next year. What team next year is completely make or break season? What team next year has to make a run, has to go deep into the playoffs? And if they don't, it's new coach, it's new quarterback, it's new infrastructure. What team is make or break next year? Go ahead, Omar. Kick us off.
Well, I'm going to say a lot depends on if Aaron Rodgers does not go back to Green Bay, then I don't think it's a make or break year, because you're going to have a young quarterback. Okay. And the same thing goes for even teams like San Francisco. Who knows what so it's hard to say as of right now what's going to happen with them. But I honestly, I think that with the weapons the Buffalo Bills have, that if they can't get over this hump, it's going to be a demoralizing season again. It's like, what else do they have to do? I mean, they were so close to beating Mahomes, in Kansas City. They should have beaten Mahomes in Kansas City. And who knows what they would have done against the Bengals. I think I like their chances, and I like their chances against the Rams. I think it's a team that's built for a championship. So I definitely think, I'm not saying you get rid of Josh Allen. Josh Allen's not a quarterback you get rid of if something bad happens next year. You keep him.
No.
But definitely, like, what happens if you guys don't go over the hump and you're sitting on this, generational talent, potential talent in Josh Allen? Yeah, you'd have to make some choices. You'd have to make a bunch of changes, I think.
Yeah.
Bill, interesting. Yeah. I wouldn't have thought you would have thrown that out there, but that's an interesting make or break team. What about you, D? What team is make or break next year?
I mean, I've gotten obviously a biased answer on the NFC, but on the AFC, I think it's the Ravens. They've been that team that has a generation talent at quarterback. Yeah. They always have a stout defense. They just can't put it together somewhere for some reason. And I get it. This year, Lamar Jackson was hurt down the stretch. He didn't play a lot. He didn't play any of the games the last, I want to say, like 4 or 5 games. He didn't play any of them. He hurt his ankle. But I think Harbaugh's on that chopping block, because he hasn't been able to get over that hump since, Ray Lewis and his years. And I think they want a fresh start. I mean, they got rid of their defensive coordinator this year. I mean, I don't. And this was probably their worst year since he was there. I really think it's Baltimore Ravens.
That's a good pick. Ravens were so up and down all year long. We don't know if Lamar is in or out.
Yeah.
And they're losing silly games.
Yeah.
I didn't think of the Ravens, but they're make or break next year. I would agree with that. I got 4 teams of my make or break. Number 1, Packers. We got to figure out what the hell's going on. Are we Rodgers? Are you going to take us somewhere next year? Great. Okay. Great game. Great season. You can retire in glory. Or if you're gonna like lead us around, if you're gonna retire or not retire, then we got to make the call and we got to continue on. Like, it's one thing to have the great player who's always pissed off. That does like just as much damage sometimes. Like, remember Marino at the end of his career where every incomplete, he was mad at the receiver. Every interception, he was mad at the call or something like that. Nobody likes an old asshole on the team where he's above everybody. So we got to figure this out, Packers. And we got to figure this out in July. We can't keep this going. Second make or break team, Cardinals. We got to figure out, can we tighten this up? Murray, are you going to play a whole season? Are you going to take a month off again?
The thing with that, I was going to say, the thing with that is that division is so tough. It's like,
that's a tough division.
It's almost like you get lucky to make it,
Murray, are you going to follow the Cardinals again on Instagram? That's the question.
He's always been a little sucker, though, man. Murray's a little sucker. He's a little chump. He's a little chump.
There's a little crybaby in him.
Is your son still a Cardinals fan, Omar?
He is. So I would like them to clean it up.
Before I move off the Cardinals with the Packers, I was listening to, remember Charles Oakley, the basketball player from the 90s?
Oh, yeah.
He wrote a book. He's a chef now or something. He wrote a book, and he's been on all these sports shows, and they ask him sports questions, and they ask him about Aaron Rodgers. And I've heard a million takes on Aaron Rodgers, but they ask him, like, what do you think about Aaron Rodgers, Charles Oakley? And he just goes, he cried too much. Just the best take I've heard. He won the MVP. They bring in a quarterback. Why do you care? You're the MVP. You're going to play? He cried too much. I was like, that's the best take I've heard about Aaron Rodgers all year. He cried too much. Other team I have make or break is Dolphins. We got to figure out a coach, and we got to figure out Tua. And then we have to move forward on that. Dolphins are the other one. And then finally, of course, I would be dumb if I left them out. My Raiders. We got to figure out if Carr, one more season with Carr, new head coach, and then if this season is good, then we move on. If it's not, we got to clean out. We got to start over in the draft or get Aaron Rodgers. When Aaron Rodgers goes to Vegas.
But honestly, it's such a hard question to ask because, like, who's Pittsburgh going to be playing at quarterback? You know what I mean? Who are the Dolphins going to be playing? Who are the Texans going to be playing? There's still like a lot of questions. Who's the Buccaneers? Who are they gonna have?
Yeah,
it's so. Yeah,
we're in the ultimate.
Hey, the Colts have
up in
the Colts have a MVP caliber running back, but now there's rumors that Wentz isn't coming back.
Yeah, where is he going?
I have no clue. Where Wentz is. They need to get rid of him.
I just think the Raiders we're at a crossroads. We might have been at crossroads for the last 3 years because of the coaching thing this year, but it's time to figure out QB. One more year, Carr. Give me one more year. Last category, the biggest picture question of the year. Next year, who's your pick? You can take it anywhere you want. Do you want to pick the Super Bowl winner next year? Do you want to pick a team who's going to surprise and make a run? Do you want to pick a breakout player for next year? Season 2021 NFL season. We're 7 months away. Omar, who's your Super Bowl pick or beyond?
2022?
2022. Sorry.
Okay.
Got ahead of myself.
So just to stay in line with my make or break, I think the Bills finally get over the hump. I think for the three of us, we shouldn't pick our own teams in this one. So
Yeah.
I think the Buffalo Bills are poised to make a run. I think it's hard to say Justin Herbert's a breakout because I think he's made some great strides even after a good successful campaign. But I still think that Herbert has a ways to go, even can go higher than what he's doing, and so I think I could see him being maybe like next year's Joe Burrow type player. So that'd be my breakout to watch. Justin Herbert, welcome to the NFL superstar. And, because it's kind of like the Josh Allen progression. We saw the talent, but God, the team wasn't quite there. But eventually they get there. You just got to be patient. So I'm going to go with Justin Herbert as the player, the Bills as the team.
Got it. Oh, nice.
So he might be MVP next year, is what you're saying.
I think Justin Herbert could be like put up these ridiculous numbers.
Yeah.
What about you, D?
Like, he balls like he's an old man, and he takes his helmet off, and he looks like a young surfer.
Yeah,
it does.
I want to say that. I mean, I already said earlier that Tom Brady, he's coming back. He's not done. He's gonna get he's gonna give us a Jordan-esque type of comeback. He's not gonna be off for a year because I think he's too old for something like that. So I think he takes the off season off, and then he comes back because he's that type of baller. Number one. Number two. I don't. You know how we have the draft that comes up every end of April, every May. This is going to be a draft that doesn't really change anybody's team. I think we see the same types of teams next year that we saw this year. I have fucking no idea who's coming out in the draft. I don't think anybody's that great. You don't have a quarterback that's coming out. You don't have a defensive player that's like standing out.
No.
I think you're going to get the same type of teams that you see this year as next year, with the exception of a couple big names. I also think one thing may happen. I think Kyler Murray knows he's about to get traded from Arizona, and I'm thinking it's either a Aaron Rodgers type of trade,
I like what you're saying here.
You know what I mean? Or something crazy like that. That's why he did what he did, because he knows that's what's coming.
You're saying a potential Goff for Stafford swap, but this year Murray for Rodgers swap straight across. I think every trade should be position for position. Like, you want a quarterback? All right, we got it. You want a quarterback? You want a running back? We got to go position for position. I got to go piece for piece. Oh, big pick. Getting me fired up for
what he did. Yep.
Getting me fired up for next season. Here's my pick for next year. I'm going with the make a run team. Totally out of left field. Jacksonville. Throw out last year's Trevor Lawrence bad season. Bad coach, bad everything, bad uniforms, Florida too humid. New coach, Trevor Lawrence, Jacksonville. I'm gonna say they make a playoff run next year. Give me Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence. Herbert and Lawrence going head to head at some point.
I like that Herbert pick. I'm with you, Omar. Herbert is he's a young stud, man. He's that next guy for sure.
Well, remember a couple years ago, we were all about Josh Allen in the offseason, and he came through. That could come through just as well.
Yep.
All right, final legal ramifications of the season. Omar, I don't know if you noticed this, but they announced that the head referee in the game today is also a lawyer. By the way, referees have regular jobs. I don't know why the NFL can't employ these guys full time, and therefore making them better referees. But remember Ed Hockley? Wasn't he a lawyer also?
Yeah, he was the lawyer out of Arizona.
What's it going to take for you to become an NFL referee, Omar? You're a lawyer.
All those guys, if you see the way they wear their shorts, they bench probably about 350 at the gym. Okay, like they're all in immaculate shape.
Omar, you're already a lawyer. You already quit drinking. Just get a membership to Planet Fitness. Put some size on. Why can't you be a referee? Look, you already have a good sense of the law. Take it to the NFL. Take it to the field.
Because Pat, I'm such a shit. I'm too vindictive. You know what I mean?
You would hold grudges.
Oh, if Dak were to tell me something about the next play, I'll tell the D lineman. I'll say, hey, look, you got a free shot on him, and I'll turn around.
And referee Omar Carmona has thrown his 17th intentional grounding on Jimmy G. I don't know what's going on here. Al, some of these referees got it really in for some of these players. We got to look into this, Al. Al, are you asleep? Are you asleep right now, Al Michaels? All right, Dinofications. My question for you, Dino. We grew up in the height of ESPN SportsCenter era. Who was your favorite SportsCenter anchor?
It was the natural selection is obviously Stuart Scott, but I grew up really loving Kenny Mayne. I really like Kenny.
Oh, really?
Mayne,
That's my pick for sure.
His dry humor, it was just on point. Like he just, I don't know. Like I just love the way he talked on air. He tried to throw in the hip type of analogy, but he still sounded dry, dry white boy. I really like Kenny Mayne, but Stuart Scott, obviously he was the GOAT. He was the guy that really connected, the hip hop culture to SportsCenter to Bristol, right? And he always related everything to some type of cool hip hop saying. So but Kenny Mayne, I really like Kenny Mayne. And like Osborne, that. What's his name? Osborne. I keep forgetting his first name.
Oberman, Keith Oberman.
Yeah,
you mean?
Oberman. Keith Oberman. And
Mm-hmm.
he's the worst. He's the worst guy to follow on Twitter, by the way. He's
a tough follow. He's a very tough follow. Yeah, very opinionated.
That not only that, he hates Trump. Obviously, I don't care about that, but he's always like posting like pit bulls that are about to get assassinated the next day at the kennel, right? He's always trying to save some dogs and everything. So.
I want to throw one at you. Just thinking about my childhood, I loved what Dan Patrick would say when he was calling baseball, the width. I just thought that was the coolest thing in the world.
Cool.
I liked when Kenny Mayne would set up a game, and he would say the Cleveland Browns are 7-7. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 8-6. On paper, this should be a really good game, but as you know, games aren't played on paper. They're played inside of television screens. And it felt like you were the only one getting that joke. You were like, oh, I get what he means. Like, not everybody got that, but I got that. And he was dry. It seemed like he didn't care, like, if you liked him or not. Whereas, like, sportscasters always seem like they're trying so hard to sound cool and hip and get the lingo. And Kenny Mayne seemed like he was a smart guy from the bar who was just in front of a camera. So, I'm with you. Kenny Mayne was just so funny. You felt like you were getting jokes no one else was getting.
That and Berman doesn't get old, but I loved it when he was with Keith Jackson, and you would always say it all the time. From Dartmouth,
from Louisville. That's right.
Said Keith Jackson. So
the Berman, the Berman and Keith Jackson was just must see watching. Sunday night, you went back and you had to watch it, and you'd see the intro. You could see all the silly names he would make up for everybody, like Ben Wintercoats.
Nobody circles the wagons. Like the Buffalo Bills.
That's right. He'd be like, they can they're 7-9. They can block. They can run. They can pass. Look, they can do a lot of things, but the Buffalo Bills, and he would just set it up every week. And then Keith Jackson was the perfect foil to him. So, well, are you guys sad that the season's over? I personally think it's time. It's been a long season.
But here,
we covered it all.
Does it end though? I mean, we're going to be talking about the next 2 weeks. We're going to be talking about the next 2 weeks. So there's going to be some free agents, some possible trades, and then we're going to be talking about combine, the draft, then OTAs, and some people haven't been showing up to their mini camp. It doesn't end. That's why we love the NFL.
It really does. The
NFL starts in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, the NFL will one day be our overlords, and we will pay taxes to the NFL at some point.
What do you guys think about these? I like it when they have games on odd days, like because of COVID or whatever. I don't mind them having a game like on a Tuesday. You know, like
right.
Put the shitty teams on a Tuesday. Nobody's watching those games anyways on Sunday, so just go ahead and have them play on Tuesday.
Germany, send them to Germany.
They're having a game this year, right?
Yeah, Germany's going to have a game. Yeah, we always joke that the London game is a punishment for whatever teams have to go. Like, all right, London game. What was it? Every bad game of the week we would call the London game.
Yeah.
Well, Super Bowl champions, LA Rams. Omar Carmona, we were here all year. Diamante Williams joined us for the playoffs. For the Sunday Night Talk, Omar Carmona, Diamante Williams. It's been a great year. Thank you guys.
Love y'all.
That is it. That is the show. That is the season finale of the Sunday Night Talk. What a year. What a game. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth called the game. What did you think? Were you happy with their broadcast? They took a beating on the show today. Wonder what you think. Did your team win? Did your team lose? Or did you just enjoy the game? Both are fine. I know some people are really cheering. I know some people are bummed out. You cannot be bummed out if your team loses. Ultimately, it was a great season. I will say it. I had fun this season. I'm ready for it to be over, but I enjoyed it. On to the off season. I want to thank Diamante Williams for joining us for the playoffs, and I want to thank Omar Carmona for joining me every single Sunday night as we wrap up every single game, every single week. And we have our Sunday Night Talk. Ultimately, I want to thank you for listening, but stay tuned because more shows are coming up. Check out my Running It Back interview series on the channel as well, and there are more of those coming all the time. Stand-up dates coming as well. So, for Omar Carmona, for Diamante Williams, for me, Patrick Ramirez, that was the Sunday Night Talk season finale, the Super Bowl edition. We will see you next year.